And now, join us for Florida Friday.
Greetings, one and all. Welcome to Florida Friday. We got a case edition. That's right. It's all day beautiful things of Florida, one of America's greatest states, and also its wang. Hopefully you guys are prepared for the weekend. I am. It's going to be an exciting, fun time. I figured we would spend our day together just watching some people in striped clothes go in front of the judge. So, without further ado, let's get into this, shall we?
Your Honor, I have before you at this time Alvin Kirkland Carter, case number 24 CF. In this case, Mr. Carter is going to change his plea of not guilty to the charge of battery, second or subsequent offense, a third-degree felony with a maximum penalty of 5 years or $5,000 fine. The sentence is going to be an adjudication of guilt, 3 years on state probation. While on probation, he'll pay the court cost and fines in the standard amount, as well as the $20 monthly cost of supervision fee. He will complete 100 hours of public service work, submit to a DNA sample as required by law,
100
complete a
hours.
substance abuse evaluation, and follow any recommendations. He must enroll in that within 30 days of release. Complete the batter's intervention program. He must enroll with that within 30 days of release. Have no contact with the victim.
Yes, he will be back today, but he's coming back for the chase. Chase and members only. That's chase and members only.
Chase and members only.
There we go.
Or family. This sentence is going to be served concurrently with case numbers 2880 CT and 23112 MM. In that case, I can tell the court that Mr. Carter entered a plea yesterday with Judge McFarland. He has a few more days of county jail time to serve before he is released. So I will have to give him the instructions that when he is released from county jail, he'll have to report into probation.
All right, Mr. Carter, would you raise your right hand for us?
Catherine?
He'll sign right here, Mr. Carter.
I can promise you right now, you'll be stuck like Chuck. Love that, Judge. Yes, Creed will come back well rested.
Sir, would you tell me your name, your age, and your highest level of education?
It's Alvin Carter, I'm 40 and 11th grade.
Did you hear Mr. Hill's announcement about how you're going to resolve your case?
Yes, sir.
Anyone promise you anything other than what was stated here in open court?
No, sir.
Has anyone threatened or coerced you in any way to get you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
You satisfied with Mr. Hill's services?
Yes, sir.
Have you had a sufficient amount of time to speak with him?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medication?
No, sir.
Understand you're waiving your right to a trial by jury?
Yes, sir.
And you're waiving your right to appeal anything other than an illegal sentence?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen by entering this plea, it could subject you to deportation?
Yes, sir.
And counsel will waive any exculpatory DNA in this case?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Carter, I'm accept your plea as known, intelligent, and voluntarily entered into. I reviewed the complaint affidavit, find there is a factual basis, and you will be sentenced as announced by Mr. Hill. You got 30 days from today to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. If you cannot afford an attorney, it won't be provided for you. Best of luck to you.
Judge, I had the score sheet attached to the back of that. It was already filled out for you, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sweet and easy. One down, several to go.
Brian Cathcart.
Cathcart, or better known as Carol. Carol's back at it.
Mr. Cathcart, how you doing,
Good
sir?
to see that.
Good. Judge, this is Brian Sidney Cathcart, case number 23108 MM. This case was reassigned from county court to your docket on the VOP for battery. The offer from the state is to admit that he violated the terms of his probation. The sentence was 180 days in jail. He has jail credit for 92 days today. Probation is revoked and terminated. All outstanding financial obligations be reduced to a civil judgment.
Not playing around, Marty.
All right, Mr. Cathcart, you raise your right hand for me?
Is that how you want to resolve this case today?
Yeah, I get credit. I get credit for the time I've already served.
Yes, yes, that's what that 92 days is all in together. You got 70 something today. You got like 20 something from the day the time before that.
And
Oh, thank God, Vinny.
20 something before that.
Thank God.
But I had
The third time on the same thing.
Or they brought me back in here on a false, they ran them together on some charge. I can't remember what it
Okay,
was.
I called myself trying to figure out your credit from when you got arrested the last time and then this time. If there's a third time, I may have missed that, but
But I get credit for the time.
Yes.
All right, that's exactly what I'm.
That case that was consolidated, so. I think your number.
it's all right there.
That's what I think too. Every time I see that, it's kind of comical. I think of that like the old timey prison garb. Makes me laugh every time.
Mr. Cathcart, did you hear Mr. Hill's announcement about how you're gonna resolve your violation of probation?
I did.
Anyone promise you anything other than what was stated here in open court?
Negative.
You understand that by admitting that you violated your probation, you're waiving your right to an evidentiary hearing?
I do.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, and medication?
No, sir.
All right, sir. Well, your probation will be revoked. You'll be sentenced to 180 days in the county jail with credit for 92 days. Then you have an additional $150 violation of probation fee. That and any other outstanding monetary obligations will be reduced to a civil judgment. Got 30
Doing
days
it
from
best.
today to appeal the judgment sentence of the court. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Best of luck to you.
Moving them along. Don't forget, it's not up yet. I haven't got it put up yet, but
John
there will
Gilbert?
be a premiere at 3 p.m. today. Judge Boyd of A Lady with 6 Kids. You don't want to miss what she ends up doing. Hey, this guy's my brother. What's he doing there?
Coming before you is John Gilbert, in case number 24.
John Gilbert, legend. Tiny Piggy, thank you for the 2 bones. You're on that monetary monorail.
28. In Mr. Gilbert's case, I've had an opportunity to speak with the state. We both agree that, or agreed that depositions would probably help clear up some questions. With that in mind, I've got them set for 5/21. So bringing them back in the May date would be a complete waste of time. So if
I
we
agree.
could bring them back in June, and just in case we can't resolve it, could I put that on the motion docket for a bond hearing? So we'll either be here for a bond hearing or a resolution.
Okay, and that's what's our June motion docket? Okay, we'll see you June 28th at 9:30.
Yes, sir.
That's fine. Vernon Goodwin.
We ain't playing around, man. We are busting through these guys.
Your Honor, I met with Mr. Goodwin yesterday and he had asked me to meet with the prosecutor, which I did. I need some additional time to go over the outcome of that meeting with him. If we could reset this for the May pretrial docket, and I'll go back to the jail and talk to Mr. Goodwin and let him know where he's at and how we might be able to resolve this case.
Yes, Mr. Goodwin, we'll see you May 9th at 1:30.
Either we're bouncing
Wayne
through these
Harvey.
guys because he knows they're quick, or these other cases maybe a
Yes,
little more work involved.
Mr. Harvey, how you doing?
I'm
Skunk
doing well, and
patch.
how are you today?
I'm doing well.
Judge, on Mr. Harvey's case, I would request an additional continuance. There's some more work that I need to do on Mr. Harvey's behalf before we come to agreement in this case. So I would just ask for additional time.
All right, what day you want to come back?
Let's move this one to June, Judge, because I mean, if we end up having to take some depositions, I'll need time to do that. So
Any objection?
hopefully we can avoid that.
No, Mr. Harvey, we'll see you June 27th.
Hang in there, Sally.
Is that the June
We'll be thinking
27th, correct,
about
Madam
that
Clerk?
today.
It is, Judge.
June 27th at 1:30. Robert House.
Ooh, how are things in Newcastle? Sounds like a cool place to visit. Oh, well, who's this guy? He's a
Judge, Mr.
plainclothes
House is
cop.
before you, case number 2363 CF on an allegation that he violated his probation by testing positive for the use of methamphetamine. There's no agreement as to sentence. Mr. Howes is prepared to admit that he violated the terms of his probation. I've gone over his score sheet, which has total sentence points of 15.6. He understands that the court could potentially sentence him up to 5 years in prison and assess the court cost in the amount of $250.
All right, Mr. House, you'll raise your right hand for me. Mr. House, you're here for your violation of probation pretrial. And according to Mr. Hill, you want to admit that you violated your probation? Do you admit that you violated your probation?
Yes.
Has anyone threatened, coerced you, or promised you anything to get you to admit that you violated your probation?
No.
You understand him? Do you understand, pardon me, that by admitting that you violated your probation, you're waiving your right to an evidentiary hearing?
Yes.
You're waiving your right to compel the state to prove the allegations against you? Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medication? That's a no.
I'm not under the influence.
Have you been prescribed any medication you did not take? Do you need additional time to speak with Mr. Hill?
I kind of want to talk to him again, about my case, if I could.
Okay, we'll call you back at the end of the docket.
Yes,
Me and my grandson, like we played
Christopher
games with him,
Maxwell?
like real board games. We, matter of fact, just bought a mousetrap the other day. Oh, it's cold there. Everybody's
Your Honor,
got
I have
crazy
Christopher
weather.
Maxwell before you in two cases. They are 23-136 as well as 24-21. Mr. Maxwell is prepared to enter a plea and accept the state's plea agreement. I would ask that the court accept his plea today and set aside sentencing until we come back to see you next week after next. Mr. Maxwell has a minor child that's out, and his wife has subsequently been arrested. She's incarcerated right now. Mr. Maxwell just needs a few more days to get things situated before he goes off to DOC with
Okay.
this minor child. Judge, the agreement calls for, in case 23-136, Mr. Maxwell is going to change his plea to guilty to count 1, possession of a firearm or ammunition by a person convicted of a felony. That's a second-degree felony. Count 2, possession of controlled
safe.
substance. That's a third-degree felony. Count 3, possession of drug paraphernalia. The sentence will be an adjudication of guilt on each charge. As to the count 1, 3-year Department of Corrections, that is a mandatory minimum pursuant to 775087. The sentence will run concurrently with 24-21. He'll receive 3 years of DOC on count 3, time served on the misdemeanor. He has jail credit for 81 days as of today. In case number 24-21, Mr. Maxwell will plead guilty to all 3 charges. As to the felonies, he will likewise receive a 3-year DOC sentence concurrent with the previous case.
I saw that yesterday, Jay. I recorded some of them. I haven't gone through them yet, but I did too. I thought maybe there was some potential for some really good stuff out of that. Yeah, I hadn't seen her do those before. So yeah, I'll be keeping an eye. And this guy, unfortunately, this is crazy. Mom and dad both locked up. I wonder if it's for the same charges. Well, Florida's the wild, wild, wild west.
He has credit for 81 days and time served on the misdemeanor.
There should be more credit.
That's a hard game, AJ.
We'll get your credit.
Yeah, we'll get you credit.
Together
Get
before
sentenced.
sentencing.
Okay.
You better have some
Take my
time if you're
pen
gonna
and-
play that.
Sign right here, and then there's another place.
And I do get my game time on the correct.
Yes. Yes.
I agree. And there's so many different kinds of operation now. I think there's a Shrek one. I think that was the one I played last. Was the
You have
Shrek
81 days right now, but we'll have to check that.
Mr. Maxwell, raise your right hand for me.
Yes, ma'am.
one?
Could you tell me
Hey,
your name, your age, and your highest level of education?
Christopher D. Maxwell,
Love
46, 45, and 12th grade.
Mr. Hill announced that you want to withdraw your previously entered plea of not guilty and plead guilty to these charges as announced. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Anyone promise you anything to get you to enter a guilty plea?
No, sir.
Anyone threaten or coerce you in any way to get you to enter this guilty plea?
No, sir.
Have you had a sufficient amount of time to speak with Mr. Hill?
Yes, sir.
Do you need additional time to speak with Mr. Hill?
No, sir.
And are you satisfied with the services?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, and medication?
No, sir.
You understand by entering this plea, waiving your right to a trial by jury and waiving your right to appeal anything other than an illegal sentence?
Yes,
You understand by entering this plea, if you're not a U.S. citizen, this could subject you to deportation?
yes, sir.
Counsel, either aware of any exculpatory DNA in this case?
No, Your Honor, in neither case.
Mr. Maxwell, I'm going to accept your plea as knowing, intelligent, and voluntarily entered into. I looked at your complaint affidavit and information I'm going to find there as a factual basis, and we'll set you off for sentencing to, what is that, May 9th at 9:30.
Thank you.
Is your daughter going to come, or child going to come and visit you at the jail?
We'll see.
How old is the child?
16
Okay. It's a boy,
girl.
girl?
That's crazy. Hopefully, the child, the 16-year-old, has a good support system
Chad Medley?
outside of these two, the mom and the dad. That's crazy. I love his
Your Honor, I have
antics.
Chad Edward
He's
Medley
like,
before you, case number
Great.
2434. At this time, Mr. Medley is going to change his not guilty plea to a guilty plea to count one, fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer, a third-degree felony.
we got
Count
Chase
two, operating a motorcycle without an endorsement. The sentence
on a motorcycle.
that he has
Yes.
agreed to is adjudication of guilt, 3 years in the Department of Corrections. That is suspended upon his timely and successful completion of 2 years of community control, followed by 3 years of probation. While on that supervision, he'll pay the court cost and fines as well as the $20 monthly cost of supervision fee. He has, he does have jail credit should we get to the suspended sentence part. 100 hours of public service work, DNA sample. Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles may apply additional penalties to his license, time served on the misdemeanor.
You just punched a shot of that microphone, by the way. Fluffy with the one and only $2. Well, no, their first one. First of many to come. Is that like today or the next year and a month? Or either way, Fluffy. Thank you. Thank you. This guy's hair is terrible, by the way. He needs to shave it.
Well, I'd have to look it up, but it's really not applicable until he comes. I mean, oh, I'm sorry. I'll have to go on my phone and I'll get it for you.
How old is your daughter? She gonna come see you in prison?
72 days. It's just my guesstimate if he was arrested.
The judge doesn't have any, the work permit. is
February
through
19th.
DHSMB. The judge doesn't give you a work permit.
Mr. Medley, raise your right hand for me.
He's preparing for We Got a Chase 405. He'll be there.
Yes.
Sir, would you tell me your name, your age, and your highest level of education?
Chad Edward Medley, 43, 11th grade.
Did you hear Mr. Hill's
Enjoy.
announcement about how you're going to resolve your case?
I did.
Anyone promise you anything other than what was stated here in open court?
No, sir.
Anyone threaten to coerce you in any way to get you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
You satisfied with Mr. Hill's services?
Yes, sir.
Have you had a sufficient amount of time to speak with Mr. Hill?
Yes, sir.
Do you need additional time to speak with Mr. Hill?
No, sir.
You understand by entering this plea, you're waiving your right to a trial by jury?
Yes, sir.
And you're waiving your right to appeal anything other than an illegal sentence?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, and medication?
No, sir.
You understand by entering this plea, if you're not a U.S. citizen, it could subject you to deportation.
Yes, sir.
Counsel waiving the scopertory DNA in this case?
No, sir.
Mr. Medley, I'm going to find there's a factual basis for your plea and also that is known, intelligent, and voluntarily entered into in case number 24 CF 34. You'll be adjudicated guilty of both counts. On count 2, you'll be sentenced to time served. On count 1, you'll be sentenced to 3 years in the Florida Department of Corrections. I'll suspend that sentence based on your successful completion of 2 years of community control, followed by 3 years of probation. You have court costs and fines in the amount of $1,008. Mr. Hill, do you waive my reading of discretionary costs and fines?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you must perform 100 hours of public service work, submit to a DNA sample. The Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles may apply additional penalties. And again, your time served on the misdemeanor. You understand that if you violate this probation, the state can prove that you violated your probation, you're going to prison, right?
Yes, sir.
You got any questions for me?
He was just asking, Judge, we've been told he does have some holes out of Wakulla County, and he was just asking me if that was going to violate him, but all that stuff happened premature to this, so.
Anything that happens
And it's
post
all
after
misdemeanor.
today?
Okay.
All right, you got 30 days from today to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Well, that turned out better for him than I thought it would, running from the law on a motorcycle. And you don't get away? Allison Gay. Thank you, Allison. Glad you're still around. Glad you're lurking. But say hi every once in a while. We love it when the lurkers say hello. Gotta get that lurking out. Also, I saw we had a birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. It's your birthday. Remind us, if you're here during the chase, remind us and we'll do a proper birthday. How old are you? 56? Wow, you're young. Young and spry.
Buddy Powell.
Buddy Powell. Diane. Buddy Powell, come on down. It's your birthday Sunday. Happy early birthday.
Coming before you is Buddy Powell, case number 2419. In this case, Your Honor, I was pointing to Mr. Powell, I think it was last month. But anyway, I went out to see him, spoke, I spoke to the state. Doesn't look like we're going to we're not anywhere close to a resolution at this time, so I haven't set depots, but I'm going to set them. I just checked with the state. It looks like I'll be able to get them on the 521. No promises, but
Yes,
they have time.
The bond,
Um,
a bond hearing for coming up in jail. Over 100 days.
Why are we
on the
interrupting our
BOP,
attorney?
Mr. Mayor. And she said something about 180 days on the first offer. Come record the first time. Is there any way that we can figure out to try to get a bond, like a bond out for it, try to get on the street? And,
that was my,
okay.
what I'd like
Oh,
to do,
okay.
Your Honor.
Well,
in the
you're even
meantime,
younger
set
than I
that
thought.
On your next available motion date, I think that's probably about 2-3 weeks from now,
Yes.
because it's based on as
You'll
you
be adding
heard,
years, Mikey.
I heard him indicate, it looks like a misdemeanor that he may be able to plead out to, and that's what's holding him. He has a bond on this case,
Okay.
but not on the BOP misdemeanor. So, and I don't know if we can get it set for a bond hearing. I'll have worked that out with the state before then.
Was that May 10th?
Me and him both in jail.
May 10th at 9:30.
Thank you.
Oh boy. Rich coming in hot with the big one bone.
Ezekiel Register.
Thank you so much, Rich. I appreciate each and every one of you for being so generous and good to us today. Got a big premiere coming up at 3 p.m. Eastern, an hour and a
They're
half from
coming
now.
before you is
sure
Ezekiel
you're there for
Register,
that.
case number 2430. This is another case that I've had a meeting with Mr. Register. I've spoke with the state. We've gone back and forth. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to resolve it anytime soon. He is one of the people that already have deposition set for 521. And so I would like to have it set on a date after that and see if the depositions shake anything loose and see if we can get us moving one direction or the other.
Yes, sir.
Mm.
Yes, sir, Mr. Register.
Also, before the court, what am I gonna ask for a speedy trial? Because, well, other than that, I know what I did and what I didn't do. So other than that, I'm just gonna go forward. So we're gonna go forward then. But I just asked for
Wow.
record, it'll be speedy trial.
That's
You have an attorney. If he wants to file a expiration or demand for speedy trial, he's been doing this a long time. He knows how to do so.
And Your Honor, I will address that. He did ask me that, but as I indicated to him, a speedy trial demand indicates that I have to represent to the court that I'm ready to proceed to trial, and I am not.
Yes, sir.
And I won't be until after those depositions.
But if they will give me more than what the court charge carried, then hey, I might as well go for speedy trial. If you're gonna give it to me, gonna give it to me.
Mr. Register, your attorney says that he wants to take the deposition of the state's witnesses. I think that'd be in your best interest.
Yes, sir.
You don't want to end up in trial. You don't know what the state's witnesses may testify to. And then at that point, you're going to be jumping
He's
up and
taking
down
over his
saying
own case.
that Mr. Wilson was ineffective because he didn't take the depositions. And it's this surprise testimony and it wasn't in some report. So let him do his job. He knows what he's doing and we'll see you. When do you want to come back, Mr. Wilson?
If we come back after the 521 date, the depositions will be done and hopefully it'll move the case one direction.
All right, that'll be 6/27 at
Stephen?
1:30. June 27th at 1:30. If y'all can resolve it before then, let me know. We'll place you on an earlier docket, Mr. Register.
And Your Honor,
I
I
don't
believe
remember.
that concludes the business that I have on my calendar, if I could be excused.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. See you on Friday.
See, I don't think I have anything unless you sign something today.
No. See you in 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Justin Reed.
The reason you scared me is Judge Register literally sometimes
Mary?
swings over lunch.
Judge, with Mr. Reed's case, I met with him yesterday and met with the prosecutor during our interim or our break between morning and afternoon court. There is an issue that has come to my attention that I think I may have to file a conflict of interest on this case.
Uh-oh.
We're also in a situation where Mr. Reed has cases here, but he's also has cases in Bay County. I know with the next person that's coming up, we're going to ask you to enter an order releasing them to Bay County so that Bay County can serve the warrants and begin the process of getting and place a detainer on these individuals so that Bay County doesn't release them without notifying us. We want to try to globally resolve everything, but until we can get the warrant served on them in Bay County, we can't get much. Until they get on a docket in Bay County, not much is going to get accomplished.
And that's the
Globally.
same. That's the same with this
this gentleman as well as Mr. Sweeney, who's coming up next.
Bay County can't come over here and serve the warrant at the jail?
Ooh, roasted.
Problem, I don't know, I don't remember Mr. Reed's, but there involves victims, there are several. And so they can come serve them, Judge, but it won't be open in the letters and everything.
Okay,
So these two here are quote unquote victimless crimes. And though I know at least for the other defendants, that way it'll get it through the court process to get that worked out. But, certainly whatever your honor decides, but that's the issue we've become. And even when they are served, we run into issues like we have on Mr. Bollinger's client where we're doing all we can to try to
Yes.
help them out. And it's not a lot of budget, Judge.
okay. So what do you want to do with Mr. Reed?
Judge, I would put him on our docket for June 27th.
Okay.
And like I said, we'll get you those orders. And like I said, hopefully once he gets to Bay County and he's on their docket and somebody gets assigned to it, then, we're all a part of trying to globally resolve these cases.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do that for Mr. Reed. We could see you 6/27 at 1:30. Christopher Sweeney?
This is the other guy they were talking about.
Is that in Bay County?
Yeah, we're gonna get order where Bay County can come get you and go serve the warrants on you, where you can get all this stuff rolling.
Yes.
And Judge,
Hey,
Mr.
Colin
Sweeney is in
Owen.
the same posture. I thought we were close to being able to resolve his case. Ms. Smith began to look at it and discovered that there was some additional new law violation warrants out of Bay County that I was not aware of. I was only aware that he had a probation violation over there. So, likewise, I would ask that he be placed on the June 27th docket, and I'll get you that order releasing him to Bay County with a detainer for us so that we can, Ms. Smith and I are going to definitely try to have a global resolution of these cases. I speak correctly, Ms. Smith? Okay.
When you say releasing them to Bay County, we're not modifying or changing any bond status. We're
No,
just
sir.
telling Bay County to come and pick them up.
That's right.
All right. We'll see you 6/27 at 1:30.
Cooper, you over there
Judge,
hanging
Mr.
out?
House we're ready on Mr. House.
All righty. Do we have Rex Busy?
He's in DOC. Before we get to Mr. House,
Midday.
Mr. Veazey, Judge, Attorney Middleton filed a notice of appearance in one of Mr. Veazey's cases that was closed. He had already previously pled to it and went to DOC on it. He filed a notice of appearance in in one of his three cases. I contacted Mr. Middleton and said, hey, I wasn't sure if you were filing this in the open case, filed it by mistake. He told me verbally that he was going to be coming on board with Mr. Veazey's open case, and he never disclosed why he was filing a
It
notice
doesn't seem
in
like it, Ed.
one of the three or one of the two cases that are closed. And I've heard nothing back from Mr. Middleton. So I have no idea.
All right, so we'll bring Mr. Veazey back June 27th at 1:30.
I
Yeah, he
get
didn't file anything in this case. It was like the 21, it was a 21, one of those escape cases that he pled to is the case he filed a notice of appearance in, and it's already been disposed of. So I don't know.
Okay,
I
are
can
we
see
ready
that
for Mr.
leaks
House?
in
Do we need to take a break?
We are, Judge.
I can see that.
Judge, on Mr. House's case, I had a chance to talk to him while you were taking care of other folks. And we're going to go forward with this open plea. And I'll make my recommendation to the court as to sentence.
Okay.
Sign right there.
I like that he's wearing the. I didn't realize he was in.
Right, Mr. House, we were in the middle of our plea colloquy. Asked you if you needed additional time to speak on Mr. Hill. You indicated that you did. Did you have
think
sufficient
he's
amount of
going
time
to
to
jail.
speak on Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Okay. You have any additional questions for Mr. Hill? Is that a no? I believe I previously asked you, but if I did not, do you understand that you're waiving your right to an evidentiary hearing?
Yes.
And you're not under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, and medication? All right, sir, I'll accept your plea as known intelligent and, your omission is known intelligent and voluntarily entered into. As far as sentencing, Mr. Hill?
Judge, on Mr. House's behalf, Mr. House, you'll see from the violation affidavit, one of his reasons for violating was failing a drug test for methamphetamine. I've had time to discuss the situation with Mr. House. I'm recommending to the court that his probation be extended for the full 5 years and it be modified to drug offender probation. I'm also asking the court to have Mr. House screened for placement into a residential drug program. He will stay here in the county jail. If he is approved for residential drug treatment, that he'll stay here in the county jail until placement and then go to the treatment, complete it, and then come out on drug offender probation and complete the aftercare. Mr. Cowles has been a trustee since he arrived at the Gulf County Jail. He's been a model inmate from what I understand at the jail. So after talking to Mr. House, I believe that would be the appropriate recommendation outcome in this case for him.
All right, Ms. Smith.
Judge, that's very similar to our plea offer, Judge, but except we would ask if, once he is released from the treatment program, Your Honor, that the drug offender, he would be on drug offender community control with the ankle monitor and the curfew.
Maybe he will get
All
out.
right, Mr. House, anything you want me to consider? Are you
Come on.
employed?
Hit him with some time.
How are you employed?
I work for Monumental Fabrication. I was working for them. I believe I can get my job back when I get out.
And what do you do with Monumental
Do,
Fabrication?
Fencing, pool fencing.
And what was your work schedule?
It varied, just 5 days a week, sometimes Saturday, Sunday, it depends. Depends on what comes in.
You have a family?
Yes,
Are you married?
no,
Have any children?
yes, I have an adopted.
Is it a minor
It's
child?
not a legal adoption, it's a custody,
How old is that child?
13.
You say it's a custody. Does that child reside with you?
Yes, yes, she does.
Who's with the child now?
My sister. My sister and I have the custody of her. I dated her mother. We broke up and she stayed with me the whole time. I've had her since she was 2.
You have a drug problem? A meth addiction?
Yes, sir.
What you gonna do to kick that addiction?
Hopefully this treatment will work.
Cold turkey. Just walk
Madam
away from it.
Probation Officer, do we still have the Vivitrol program or whatever it is for the meth?
What is it, Judge?
Is it I believe years ago we had Vivitrol or some type of
Years ago.
program that we administered to folks who have meth addiction.
Judge is struggling for the name, but I'm not struggling for this one. Leslie. Oh, baby, you come in there dropping that monies. Thank you so much for your support. Are we just going to send him to rehab or what? I think we should, maybe he needs to go do a little time, man.
And basically, if they use
Boy.
meth and took the Vivitrol, it will shut them down. You aware of that?
I have not seen that ordered since like 2021.
Okay.
So I-
Unless you know that's what I said years ago. Okay.
I'm not familiar with it, Judge.
Okay. Yeah, we used to order it for folks who had meth problems, and if you take a Vivitrol shot while you're on probation and you take meth, it's not a good feeling.
Okay, so he wants to give him a shot.
But what I'll do, sir,
Okay.
I'll reinstate your probation. You have an additional $250 violation of probation fee, and
I don't know what
any
that
other
means.
outstanding monetary obligations that you have not satisfied will be reimposed. Your probation will be extended to 5 years. You will be screened for residential drug treatment. That will be Keaton. We're going to screen you for Keaton. You
Good to
remain
see
in
you,
the
Iowa.
Gulf County Jail until you are approved and a bed is available. If you're not approved for, do we have a score sheet?
We do, Judge.
Yeah, you should be approved for Keaton. But if you're not approved for Keaton, we'll screen you for another program. You'll remain in the county jail. No, that's in Bay County.
He was talking about,
There's one in Marion, I
Chrome
think.
program is what he was
Okay.
talking about, Judge.
He may have got those mixed up. Because I've heard of that too, where you take like medication if you have like a drinking problem. If you drink, it makes you really sick. But I don't know if they have one for meth. That does sound kind of rather suspect that that's not what he's talking about. And this not a legal adoption, I don't know what that means. It means like, hey, I got a 13-year-old living with me.
So my orders that you would be screened for Keaton House. It's a residential drug program. If for whatever reason that you're not accepted, then we can screen you for another residential treatment. You remain in the county jail until you are approved and a bed is available. Once you successfully complete that drug treatment program, your first year will be on drug offender community control. That's with the ankle monitor and the curfew. And that'll be followed by the remainder on drug offender probation. You understand? As I'm not aware about the Vivitrol program, I'm not going to make that a part of your sentence. But you got 30 days from today to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Thank you, sir.
I was thinking about a dream he had last night.
Yes, $1 a day at your own expense.
See this
$1 a
young man right
day.
here, and then you'll need to see the deputy and get fingerprinted.
Speaking of
They'll give you
$1 a
some
day,
instructions on what will be in-
Russell. Welcome to the
Is that
fam.
everyone?
Good job, Russell. Thank
You may
you.
recall we had one no-show from this morning, actually two no-shows from this morning.
Yes, sir.
One, I was able to make phone contact with after court, Miss Elise Bogle. I asked her to come and here today, and she has. I told her that if she would come on up, Miss Bogle.
Oh, so she didn't show.
I would ask
Lawyer
the court
calls
to
her
consider
and then
rescinding the capias that was ordered. You may recall in this case, I have deposition scheduled later, excuse me, in May for her case. So I was going to ask for the June 27th pretrial date, which would give me time to get those depositions done.
Mr. House, one moment.
good God, are we beating something to death with the microphone?
Ms. Bogle, where were you this morning?
I was at work.
I was asleep.
For some reason, I thought my court date was on the 28th. It was just my mistake. I've just been having a lot going on lately with work, and my child's been having problems in school.
What led you to believe your court was on April 28th?
Honestly, I don't know. That's what I was talking to Ms. Hoover earlier. I don't know where I got the 28th from. It was just my mistake.
How old is your
I-
child?
She's 11. She'll be 12 next month, actually, on the 7th.
If she's trouble now, it's gonna be even worse
We have
soon.
the clerk prepare this notice for a reason, and you signed to be
sir.
here on the 25th at 9:30. We called your name a few times. I mean,
I'm so sorry.
where do you work?
I work for some homeowners in Mexico Beach. I was actually, whenever he called me, I was in the process of pressure washing a house. I had to run back to my house to take a shower and get ready, and I came right on over here.
Okay, I'll withdraw the capias.
Thank you.
This isn't the first time it's happened.
And then
Another
put you in
gentleman
jail.
who
Aha.
come before me, miss court, and come before me with excuses is now sitting in the county jail. You have a job, you have a child, so you don't want to be sitting in the county jail. Make sure you make your court dates, ma'am. That'll be June 27th at 9:30.
Yes, sir. And again, I apologize for
Yes, ma'am.
that.
Apologies accepted.
Thank you.
Aw.
Anything else, Ms. Smith, Mr. Hill?
That's all we got.
All right, we'll be in recess until
And that's all we've got too. Florida Friday just kicking off. Don't forget, we're going to have members only tonight at 5:30 Eastern, right there on Credence and Mikey. Credence will be back as well. Don't forget, he'll be back for We Got a Chase. You do not want to miss this. We Got a Chase. It's some really good stuff, some crazy stories from out of Florida. So the most recent wildness that's brought forth by the great state of. So you don't want to miss that. But before that, 3 p.m. Eastern, Judge Boyd. It's going up in probably about 10 minutes. You'll see that posted up over on Credence and Mikey. Please go over there and hit the notify so you don't miss it. Come hang out. We'll all be in the chat, chatting it up. That's pretty much what people do. It's pretty much see you at 3, Mama Llama. Not a problem. Not a problem. Creed will shadow ban anyone that's not there. Peace and love. Peace and love. Darren, just hit the rewind. Just go back and watch it. Watch it over. Another fun members. You better believe it. I've got some great stuff lined up for us, so I hope everybody's there for that. And we will discuss who won Coleslaw Wrestling. It's going to be interesting. We'll talk about Coleslaw Wrestling Championships. We'll talk about everything else that's going on, as well as some really fun stuff that you must be there to enjoy. But before that, I've got to grab the mic and thank all of you who are nice enough to break loose the purse strings, sending it over on the Stuck Like Chuck Express. Carol, thank you. Tiny Piggy, Fluffy, Allison Gay, Rich, Leslie, and welcome, Russell. Welcome to the family. Glad to have you be part of it. And if you're not yet a part of the family, think about it. For as little as $3 a month, you can be a part of members only, where you'll get stuff, see stuff, and hear stuff you will not during regular business hours. So make sure you go ahead, grab on a piece of that action. And we're going to do it all over again. See ya at 3 p.m. for the premiere, and then at 4:05 for the chase. I'm Mikey the Legend. You're not. Stay safe, stay hard, stay tuned. We'll see ya real soon. Okay. Scissor me, daddy!